Yeah. The Rabbi said the whole thing to me, but I can't go into that now, what it was.
Why did
the Rabbi said something very important, but I couldn't hear it. I didn't know what the Rabbi said because there was so much, I couldn't I didn't get it clear. So the amazing thing was that there was a guy, I don't even know who he was to this day. I don't know who he was. But there was a guy that he was further back in the crowd. So when the Rebbe went through, then everybody tried to swing around so they could see what's going to happen after the Rebbe got to the place where he danced, you understand? The Rebbe danced in the middle. And so once he went past, everybody tried to turn around to see what's going to happen now. So there was this huge movement of all these goofers that they'd been holding back, and they all swung, but they were trying to swing around in the direction of the Rebbe. So that's when I really got I thought I was just managed going to collapse, So sort of in the middle of all these goofers, and they're all swinging around. And all of a sudden this guy, he got up on shoulders. A fellow, he spoke English. He got up on shoulders of people and he called down to me over the whole thing. And he said, Rabbi Gafne, I don't know how he knew who I was. And he says, Rabbi Gafne, did you hear what the Rebbe said? And so I shouted back to him as much as I could. I said, no, I didn't. So he said, the Rebbe said, kach v'kach. It was only a relatively brief remark. And he said to me in English what the Rebbe had said to me in Yiddish. You follow? If I'd have heard, I would have understood. I understand Yiddish. But I didn't hear, you understand? And he shouted to me over all these gufim. He said, the Rebbe said to you, kach v'kach. You follow? And that was a tremendous chesed that he did me, A tremendous thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known to this day what the Rebbe said, And he did me a tremendous service. And I tried after later when the whole thing, all the hakofas were finished, and I tried to find him. I couldn't find him. I know, to this day, I don't know exactly who he was. But he was a well-built, tall sort of individual, and he got up on the shoulders, and he shouted down to me, so I heard clearly. So, what's it got to do with it? Oh, yeah. So the Rebbe Rashab, he used to go to first Hakofa and the last Hakofa. So in the year Tovshin Nuntes, but the Rebbe Rashab, he used to say the Chazanah, he used to say the words, So the last Hakofa begins with the expression, it doesn't begin, but the second round begins with Toimer Tamimim Hoishiono Toimer Tamimim. So all of a sudden the Rebbe Rashab stopped. He was holding the Sefer Torah, and he said in Yiddish, what is the question? What is the name of the yeshiva? Must say, what have I been bothered with? Why don't I know up till now what is the name of the yeshiva? It's a question. He said, it's clear what the name of the yeshiva is. He said, the yeshiva's name is Tomchei Tmimim. That's what he said. And he's holding the Sefer Torah, and that's how the name Tomchei Tmimim started. So why did he say Tomchei Tmimim? Because that he wanted to include all the people of Anash, you follow? But the Tmimim are the Talmidim. The Tmimim are those who learn in the yeshiva. Tomchei Tmimim are those who support and look out of the thing. Who are they going to be? All the Anash. They've got to support the yeshiva, you follow? But since they support the yeshiva, they're an essential part of it. So the yeshiva is not just Tmimim. The yeshiva is Tomchei Tmimim. Those who support. Yeah, that's me. So that's how it all fits together. So why did the Rabbi say, why did he say that it's so obvious that all the Talmidim are called Tmimim? In other words, if you learn in the Rebbe's yeshiva, you're a Tomim. You have to be, or you are a Tomim. You follow? I see it doesn't particularly, I guess you guys were a bit confused, but it's an interesting question. Yeah, why? Why did the Rebbe say that? You follow? So, I want to suggest that that's got a bit to do with the Balaturim that I told you. But the Balaturim said that if you are a Tomim, then you're keeping the whole Torah mi-aleph ad tov, from beginning to end. There's something in the whole idea of a Tomim which embraces everything. You are, as it were, complete because you got everything. In other words, you're really doing everything if you're a Tomim. Now, that's got to do with the fear of Hashem. You got to be a emissaire, Yirei Shamayim. So what I'm trying to bring out in this class, you might say, well, you're sort of wandering all over the place. No, I apologize if I do wander all over the place. But they say that what I'm trying to imply is that if I'm going to be perfect in Yiras Hashem, like the Ebenezer said, I just, but a pastor, yet nonetheless it gives me a power that I'm able to go ahead and I look after everything, me-aleph ad tov. I'm going to be, as it were, promotive of the whole Torah, me-aleph ad tov. So if you guys were in the mood, then I would tell you a story, but they say, but the whole thing is, all you do is tell us stories, you don't really teach anything.
What?
But the stories...
Bereshis.
So I want to tell you, this is a bomb. When I first came to Eretz Yisrael, my mashpia in Australia, he said to me that he has in Kwachabad certain relatives, and he wants me very much to give over green. He never sees it. He was way out in Australia. In those days, to fly from Australia to Eretz Yisrael was like going to Mars or something. It's very long and complex and very expensive. So he lived over there in Australia. And he never saw his relatives, so to give a greeting was a big thing, So he asked me if I would go in to certain people in Kwachabad that they were related to him and give over a greeting. So you know who one of the people was? One of the people was the person that he was the deputy Rav of the whole of Kwachabad. He wasn't the Rav of Poyo, but he was a very, very big rabbinic figure. And if the Rav was not feeling well, or the Rav had gone somewhere, and an urgent question or something came up, and they needed upset, he used to pass him. He was like, the next in line. If for some reason the Rav wasn't able to, or didn't, for some technical reason, pass, he would be asked. He was the one. And he had a big responsibility. So he was an amazing man. His name was Rav Yankov Yitzchok Plasma, I think, or Yitzchok Yankov Plasma was his name. So I come in to give him a greeting from my mashpia, from Reb Zal. So, he said, thank you very much. In those days, to get a greeting from someone was a big thing. So he sat me down, and his wife brought in a cup of tea and some mazenas. It was all very, ceremonial, very balbatis. So all of a sudden he says to me, you want to hear a miser? So of course, I said, of course, I'd like to hear a miser. So you know what he told me? he said that how he became a Rav, that the Rebbe Rashab called him in and told him that he has to learn Yerodea. If only he has to get a basic smicha. So he got it, and he got a smicha. Then when he finished that, he's already a younger man by the time he got married. Bush, huh? So he hears from the Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab called him again in the Yechidot, and the Rebbe Rashab said to him, this time you got to learn Ibn Ezra, you got to learn, I want you to be a Dayan. So he said he wants to be a Dayan, he's got to learn Dayanas. So he said, that's a big, it's a big task, to learn, the whole Ibn Ezra, So the Rebbe Rashab said to him, that's the Indian, that's the task. I want you to be a Dayan. So he goes away and he works, tremendous effort, months and months and months. He sits day and night, he learns Ibn Ezra. He comes he was a very big Bokishan, you understand? And he became very versed in, so all of a sudden, when he's finished, he's just finishing the whole thing, he's being tested by big Rabbanim, All of a sudden the Friedrich Rebbe calls him in, and the Friedrich Rebbe said that they have a question, somebody's asked a question to the Rebbe Rashab about agunas. You've heard about aguna. Ladies that they don't know what happened to their husband, they can't remarry. So it's a very complex in Ibn Ezra. So the Friedrich Rebbe said to him, we're going to write you down all the details and all the, and he said, my father says that he would like you to give your opinion about it. Says about that, who am I? He said, I'm just new in this whole game, and everything. The Rabbi said, are you asking questions on my, my father said that's what he was. So he's Mekabal. So he goes away and he studies this whole thing, for a long time, and he puts his whole cop into the whole thing, and he learns all the detail, and he looks up all the shilas and all the responsa and all the shilas and shuvas, and all of a sudden he writes down in writing his opinion about it. And he asked for an interview with the Friedrich Rebbe, because he's already ready, he's finished. So he comes in, and the Friedrich Rebbe had a very oyen face, even when he wasn't yet the Rebbe, but people were very, so he walks in, the Rebbe looks up and looks his eyes and he just, that's it. So he says that he's already prepared his tshuva in the matter. So the Rebbe said, oh yeah, they're very good. So the Rabbi picks up the tshuva and puts on his glasses, and he starts, studying the tshuva. He's sitting in the chair. But the Rabbi is reading, the whole tshuva, and studying it very carefully. And he said he was just fainting, So in the end, the Rabbi finished reading the tshuva, and he put it down, you follow? And he took off his glasses, and then there was a packet of cigarettes on the table, you follow? So all of a sudden the Rebbe picked up the packet of cigarettes, he pulled out a cigarette, like in the office somebody, he pulled one out, and he went like that to him, so, with the cigarette. So at the beginning, he didn't put it together. He was so nervous, he didn't get the point. So he said he didn't smoke, so he didn't really know what to do with a cigarette. That was his first thought, Then all of a sudden he realized there was something more going on here. So, but he hesitated, and the Rebbe is sitting with the cigarette like this, and he's like sort of, hesitating. So all of a sudden the Rebbe else went like that, like that with a cigarette. So all of a sudden he put it in his hand, and he took it, you understand, and he put it in his shirt pocket. So the Rebbe else sort of smiled slightly, and then he said, "Konskayan, you can go now." So it goes through a bit of time, and then all of a sudden he hears again that the Rebbe Rashab wants to see him again. So he comes in, for the Rebbe Rashab. And it was Mamish Oyim, So the Rebbe Rashab says to him like this. He said, I read your tshuva, and he said, Miyashiv Esadas, it was settling to the mind. So the next thing the Rebbe Rashab says, something that over in the city in Bulgaria, in Pliny city, he said the Rov there has resigned. There used to be a Rov there, now there's no Rov. He said, I want that there should be a younger man from Tomchei Tmimim. He should be the Rov over there. You follow? So he sort of nodded at the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said to him, you got the job. He said, I want you to go over there to Bulgaria. I want you, in that city, I want you to be the Rav. You follow? He's absolutely, dumbfounded, It's a long way away. Not only that, it's a big town. There's a lot of Yidden there, There's Spanish Yidden. You follow? There's a lot of Yidden. So you know what he said to the Rebbe? He said, Rabbi ich hab Moira. That means in Yiddish, I'm afraid. I said, Rabbi, he said, I'm afraid. Rabbi ich hab Moira. So now what did he mean with that? He didn't mean to say he was frightened of the Goyim or frightened of the city or in his own safety. What he meant was he's frightened to take the responsibility. He doesn't want to take the responsibility. Hey, get the point. That's what he said. Rabbi Chob Moira. So he said, all of a sudden, the Rebbe Rashab smiled. And he said, when the Rebbe Rashab smiled, it was like, the sun comes out in the middle of the night. All of a sudden it was beautiful. Everything changed. The Rebbe smiled at him. And then he said in Yiddish, soll ich den schicken eine, was hat nicht kann mehr? The Rebbe Rashab said, should I send somebody who is not afraid? If I know, get the point. So he didn't schicken eine, was hat nicht kann mehr? Should I send somebody who's not afraid? So, that's just absolutely floored him, In other words, that's the reason why I want to send you. Because you're afraid, you don't want to take the responsibility. That's why you got to go. So he just shuddered kind of back. And then all of a sudden he straightens himself up. And he looks at the Rebbe Rashab and he said, Rebbe, wen vorig? He said, Rebbe, when am I going? So he went, and that's how he began his rabbinic career. That's what he told me this morning. Here I am, a new little bocher that arrived from way over the other side of the world, and I come into his house, and that's the story he told me. You follow? I'm drinking a cup of tea. He told me that story. I'm also looking at the clock. What is the secret to all this? You follow? The secret to all this is what the Targum says, and what the Targum Yonasan says, and also the Ramban says, the Ramban. And they all say, that if you're Sholem, the Yira, then you're a Tamim. You follow? A Tamim is somebody who's a bit, sort of Tamim, That is his unbelievable Maila. somebody who's into all the, the little shtickler and all the little meiselach, he will get caught maybe in calculations, he'll get caught, maybe there's a bit of politica going on somewhere or something, he might sort of get some way. But if he's a tamim, who'll pursue it, he's not made up of all sorts of different things. He's pursued, like the actors of the Eberster. He's pursued. He will just go through, and he won't ask what's going to be, and he's not going to ask what's going to happen with me if I go out there, what's going to be with my children when I have children. What am I going to do? And he doesn't ask any questions about the future. He just goes ahead. He is like as if he has the whole Torah, me aleph ad tov. He's like as if he's got the whole Torah from the aleph to the tov. You follow? That's a balaturim. He's like as if he's got the whole. You can rely on him. Whatever will be the issue, he will try to do it according to the fear of the Eberster. He won't try to do it according to what maybe it's more diplomatic to say this, or it's maybe better for certain calculations to say this, or maybe it's better just not to mix into the whole Indian, and try and avoid it some way. He won't act like that. No, if the Torah will demand that he say something, then he has the liberty kind. He's not a maze. You follow? He's a lion. He has a liberty kind. He has a straight, open liberty kind. And he will say exactly as it is. That's why the yeshiva is called Tomchei Tmimim. Because the people who support that yeshiva are supporting Tmimas. And Tmimas is a whole thing. I was just pointing out. It's on the one hand almost like a naiveness, and yet it's a completion and an absolute thing. So I'm surprised that you guys. I would have thought that somebody would have come up. It's written by the first Yid, the very first Jew. The Rabbi used to call him the Erste Yid. Who was that?
Noach.
Huh?
Noach.
No, it wasn't
No, Tamim.
Avram Avinu.
No, but
but Noah was also a Tommy. But there's questions of some people hold that he was a Tommy in B'deiros hold. Or if he'd have been in another Deros, maybe not. There's a little bit of a ever so slightly not to be Pogera in the cover of Noah, that's for sure. But there's like a little. But who's it written by that he was absolute Tommy?
Moshe.
Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu. Where's it written? By the Bris Milah, just before the Bris Milah, by Yoma Hashem El Avram, Ani Kelo Shin David Yud, Hisalek Lefonai, Veheye Tomim. So if you look in the Ramban over there, the Ramban writes exactly the same thing over there, what he writes here. And he says, Zem mitzvahs essay. He said later that's going to be a positive commandment for all of his descendants of all his generations and later, and that required him to be, he relies completely on Hashem, He has absolutely he just relies, he doesn't inquire, he's not worried what's going to be or what might happen or what, he just goes ahead. That's what the Ramban, and he says, exactly the same words as he says over here. And he said, Zem mitzvahs asay, over there in Brazen. He said, Zem mitzvahs asay, the Ramban, that's what he wrote. In other words, of Avram Avinu, he was a Tomim, you understand? Avram Avinu was the first Tomim. You're right, Noah was really the first one. But, it's sort of it's given to discussion a bit, not Chachon, many Pegiv, quote Noya, of Roma Pino, Hey, Tommy, and so the Ramban said it's a mitzvah, and later that's going to be a mitzvah for all of his generations. To come, you have to be a Tomim. So Tomchei Tmimim is really helping you to be Mekayim a mitzvah, as I said, according to the Ramban. That's what you're supposed to be. Tomchei Tmimim makes you like that, and it turns you into a Tomim. Well, really, you just go ahead, don't have any concentration. So the Rabbi says you should go out, put tefillin on people, So I guess just jump up, do stand on the street, put tefillin on people. So the Rabbi said, no questions, no chakiras, no, Tamim. And Davki with that, you should realize that the whole victory in the 6-Day War, all was I was here and I saw it in the 6-Day War. I saw it in front of my eyes. It all came about through the Mivtza. Everybody knows it. Everybody. Even those in the army that they had taken, they also knew it. And those that didn't, they're making the same mistakes that they're making today. You follow? But the ones who realized that it was all due to the Mivtza, they don't make any mistakes. It just goes, with the pastors, that's the way it is. To me, and Davki, he is the one that you want to achieve something in Yira. Shlim v'tachalta in Yiras Hashem for you and for the tzibur and for Ali. Get him to do it. He will do it. He's a tamim, Who shalem, he's whole. But since he's whole with a W, he's holy with a H. He's Vamela. He's the one who knows what Kiddush is about. Tamim, and that's the story that I heard of. It was amazing. I was got a brother, I went to see, he passed away shortly after he had our great Tsar. He suffered from tuberculosis. He had a problem with his lungs, never. He was already not a young man, and he passed away, but I was there. I met him, and I was very friendly by him. And I heard that he was sitting, he didn't even know me, We just said, and I gave him a greet. He said, "You want to hear a miser?" And I said, "Yes." That's a miser he told me. You must always, if somebody says you want to hear a citizen miser, you must always say, "Oh yes." You have to be ready. Because Davki in the citizen miser, that's the real, that's the real McCoy. The real Shmektelbik. That's in the Sipurim, in the Sipurim Eisen. That's the message that I wanted to get over today. And that's what the Balaturium, you should realize the Balaturium wrote his whole Pirush in about 26, maximum 30 hours. The whole story. He was the son of the Rosh. The Balaturium was the son of the Rosh. So one day the Rosh calls in his son and he said, "Listen, man," he said, "we're very busy with the Talmud and the Piskei Dinim and he wrote the Torah afterwards, the Balaturium. We're busy the whole time." He said, "I'm concerned. I never see you learning Torah Shebiksar." He said, "You're all the time in the Gemaras and all the Poskim and all the Rishonim and he said, "I never see you learning Chumash." So he said, "Maybe I have a point, but I'll Be'ez Hashem, I'll take care, I will pay more attention." So he went away and he was so moved by the fact that his father said, "You don't learn enough. There should be so." He sat down and he never slept for a whole, 26 or more, 30 hours, and he wrote the whole Balaturium. He wrote it, and he brought it to his father, and he showed